the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
It is in the details, a look, a connection, the moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Great. It's time to get all the sports stories now with Stuart. And Stuart, of course, all the violence that's going on in Bahrain is also having implications for Formula One. Explain to us what's going on.
Yes, that's right, Barbara. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix is supposed to start the season. Bernie Ecclestone, the man who runs Formula One, has said this lunchtime that the Grand Prix has a good chance of going ahead. Now, since then, of course, things have escalated. The race is due to take place on the 13th of March, but the latest from Bernie Ecclestone is that he's hopeful it will go ahead, but since his statement there, of course, has been another escalation in the violence. Now, Ecclestone set a deadline of Wednesday, and if the situation doesn't improve by then, the race will be called off. This weekend's GP2 race has already been called off. The Formula One teams are currently testing in Barcelona. Now, after 14 warm-up matches and one spectacular opening ceremony, it's time for the serious action to start in the Cricket World Cup. Bangladesh host India in the opening match, kicking off 6 weeks of action in 3 countries featuring 14 different teams. But even as excitement amongst the home fans reaches fever pitch, the future of the 50-over format they'll be watching remains uncertain. Andy Richardson reports from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh cricket supporters seem to be enjoying their first World Cup experience. The event's rambling 3-country format has been criticised, but it's given these fans and their team a co-hosting chance they might otherwise not have had. Bangladesh have the advantage of playing all their group matches at home, starting with Saturday's opener against India.
I think all the teammates will be very happy to know that the crowd behind us and that they will be, the whole crowd will be cheering for us. So I think it's a very good sign for our cricket.
The bigger picture surrounding the preparations for this opening game is the future of the 50-over game itself. This is the first World Cup since the emergence of 2020 and the seemingly all-powerful Indian Premier League. The success or otherwise of this competition will give us all a much clearer idea as to whether 3 different versions of the game really can coexist.
It is certainly the flagship of 50-over cricket. With the backdrop that you point around 2020 cricket, it just gives it that more importance in that we want to ensure that all 3 formats survive.
But while the next World T20 event will be expanded, the ICC have said the 2015 World Cup could well feature just 10 countries. The players, though, aren't ready to deliver the 50-over game's last rites just yet.
I think it's an ideal mix of, both Test cricket and T20 format. And what has happened right now is, it's getting more and more interesting with most of the teams, looking to score close to 300 odd runs, which more often than not nowadays is not considered a very safe score.
This event then not quite on its last legs, but definitely in need of the sort of kick-start this opening match could provide. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera, Dhaka.
Now here's a flavour of the kind of atmosphere we can expect in Bangladesh. This was a warm-up match between England and Pakistan. Despite that, still a great crowd at the Khan Shahid Osman Ali Stadium in Fatullah. England batted first and were all out for 273. In reply, Yunus Khan hit 80 for Pakistan, but they never got close as they were bowled out for 206. England win by 67 runs, and Paul Collingwood's 65 was a welcome return to form for the England batsman.
As you said, it was nice to, on a personal note, to get some runs. It's been quite a frustrating few months for us, not being able to contribute as much as I would have liked. And even though it was a warm-up game tonight, I thought it was important that I spent some time out in the middle and try to get that confidence going again, and thankfully it worked out well.
But there are problems in India, where the venue for the final has failed a safety inspection. The Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai has not been cleared by the City Fire Department because it doesn't have enough entrances and firefighting equipment. The stadium is also scheduled to host 2 group matches before the final on the 2nd of April. Caroline Wozniacki is back on the top of women's tennis after reaching the semi-finals of the Dubai Tennis Championships. The Dane, seen here on Thursday, has regained her #1 ranking that she briefly lost to the Australian Open champion Kim Clijsters, who isn't playing in Dubai. Wozniacki faces Jelena Jankovic for a place in the Dubai final. Now, Rugby Union's old Super 14s is now the Super 15s after the addition of the Melbourne Rebels to the Southern Hemisphere's biggest club competition. But the new team, who've recruited the likes of England fly half Danny Cipriani, are off to the worst possible start in the expanded competition. Melbourne were thrashed in front of their own fans by their state rivals, the New South Wales Waratahs, who turned on the style, running in 7 tries, including 2 from Drew Mitchell. The final score a whopping 43 points to 0. Football, and Ryan Giggs has signed an extension to his current contract with Manchester United. The new deal runs until the end of next season. The 37-year-old, the most decorated player in English football, having won 11 league titles, 4 FA Cups and 2 Champions League titles. Speaking of records, if Real Madrid win or draw with Levante in their Spanish league match, coach Jose Mourinho will have gone 9 years without a home league defeat. That's 147 matches at 4 different clubs: Porto, Chelsea, Inter and Real Madrid. Mind you, Mourinho's playing it down because with 100 days left in the season, his side trail leaders Barcelona by 5 points.
I consider tomorrow's match to be the most important of my career, but only because it's the next one. And I consider the next 100 days to be as important as the last 100 days of every season I've been a coach. That's 11 years, because the last 100 days are where you win or lose everything.
And that's all sport. Back to you, Barbara.
Stuart, thank you very much for that. Right, I'll be back in just a few minutes with more of the day's news. Of course, more on our top story, that is the violence in Bahrain. Coming up next, though, it's the weather. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Hello again. Well, let's start off with the weather over Australia, because as well as some cyclones, we're also seeing some torrential downpours elsewhere. It's in the southeast corner where we've got this thick blanket of cloud that's gradually marching its way across us. Torrential downpours out of this, and a few areas of flooding as well. This system's still going to be with us as we head through the remainder of Saturday, but not into Sunday. Sunday, it should eventually begin to clear away towards the east. Elsewhere, though, we'll still have lots of wet weather around. Darwin still not too far away from the remains of our cyclone Carlos, so yet more heavy downpours still to come here. And then this circulation here is another tropical cyclone. This one's Diane. Gradually it's running its way southwards, but it's going to continue to throw lots of wet weather across Western Australia over the next few days, and there could be some flooding here as well. Now,